Hello everyone, welcome to Adobe Illustrator tutorial. Let's begin. So I'm opening the software simply by clicking it. Now the software is opening. So when you open the software, this interface you're going to get. This is the home screen. If you want to change the home screen and directly go to the working panel, go to edit, then go to preferences, then general, and then uncheck this show home screen or no documents open box like this, and then hit OK. Then you're going to get an interface like this. Now I'm going to show you how you can open a new page. To open a new page, go to File, New, and then you have some presets here. Mobile and web is for when you want to save something that will stay inside your computer or mobile. Next you have print. If you want to print something, then come to this preset. Now I want to create something that will stay inside my PC. For that I'm going to choose web, and I'm going to make it 2000 pixel by 2000 pixel and make the artboard's value 1, and I'm going to hit create. That way, as you can see, I have created a new page, and this welcome screen will pop up. I'm going to hit OK, and this is my new page. Now I'm going to talk about this layout. So if you are in this essentials tab, this option bar and toolbar will not show. So I'm going to change the essentials to essential classic. If I select this, as you can see, this is my option bar, this is my toolbar. Now I can change the toolbar to one line toolbar by clicking here, or I can make it two line toolbar like this. I can move it like this. I can also delete it. Now you have layers, I can delete it, libraries, I can delete it, artboards, I can delete it, properties, I can delete it. If you have deleted everything, don't worry, you can get them back simply by hitting this essential classic button and then clicking on reset essentials. If you click this, as you can see, all the options are back. Now how should you keep your layout? I like to personally make this toolbar in this two line toolbar like this. I like to keep this properties panel, and I like to delete these libraries, and I like to bring two menus back. The layers menu, I can bring back any menus here. I want this layer panel, and I can delete the panels I don't need from here, and I want to bring back the artboards. So this is my artboard, I can bring it back like this. So, and I can keep the artboards inside layers like this. So this is what I recommend if you are new and making edits on Illustrator. Then after editing a few projects, when you are advanced in Illustrator, then you can change this layout according to your needs. Next I'm going to explain you what these artboards are. You can click this artboard like this and make multiple artboards. You can hit Ctrl minus to zoom out from the page, or Ctrl plus to zoom in. And if you don't need artboards, you can simply delete it like this. Next I'm going to explain to you what layers are. These are my layers menu. So let me make a vector. I can select this rectangle tool and draw a rectangle vector like this. So I have drawn a rectangle. Now this, as you can see, is inside this layer menu, as you can see, and it is on its own layer. You can create new layers, empty layers like this. As you can see, this layer is empty and this does not have the drop down menu. You can create as many layers as you want, and you can also delete the unnecessary layers simply by selecting the layer and hitting delete like this. And when a vector is selected, it will have this double circle icon like this. So let me select the eclipse tool and make a round ellipse like this, and it is, as you can see, is in its own layer. Now if I select this round circle here and make it double round, as you can see, that layer gets selected. This was layer menu. Now I'm going to show you this option bar. I have two vectors here. If I want to change the color of this rectangle vector, then I can simply do so from here. I can change, here are some default colors. I can change it to white, black, red, yellow, green, blue, deep blue, to any color I want. Next I have a stroke. I can increase the stroke. From here I can make the stroke to 60. As you can see, this is a border of the fill. I can change the stroke color from here. I can make it white, black, red, yellow, green, blue, or I can hit this none to make it disappear. For now, let me make it the stroke blue and increase the stroke to 60. You can also change the color from here. As you can see, it has both the fill and the stroke. You can also change the fill color and the stroke color from here. This is the fill. Double click on it and this menu will appear, and then you can change the color. Select any color from this menu, and then if you click it, it will change the fill color. You can also change the stroke color from here. Double click on the stroke, and then choose any color you want. Choose it and then hit OK. As you can see, it changes the color to that color. You can also switch the colors of fill and stroke by clicking here like this. So now I'm going to show you this uniform. For that, let me select the rectangle tool and make a rectangle like this, and let me increase the rectangle stroke value to 60, and the color is black. So here you have you can change the style of this stroke from here. As you can see, you can change it to anything you want like this. Next we have some more stroke changing options. This is brush definition. Now it is in basic. Now if you select the dagger, it will change. Let me hit Ctrl plus to zoom in inside this vector. So this is the dagger style. You can increase it from here. As you can see, it has become smaller. You can make it 16 pixel, and then let me hit Ctrl minus to zoom out. This is the dagger style. You can also change it to multi-line style. Let me increase the stroke size. It has become smaller again. This is multi-line style. Next we have is this 3pt round style. Let me increase the size from here to 20. This is 3pt round style. Next we have is 10pt round. Next we have is 5pt flat. Next we have is touch calligraph brush. So these are some styles. So next we have is opacity. If your opacity is 100%, this will be solid. If your opacity is 50%, like this, it will be like a see-through glass, and if your opacity is 0%, then it will become invisible, but the vector will be still there. So let me change it back to 100%. Next we have style. You can change the style of your design like this from this style menu. Next we have here is recolor artwork. If I click on this menu will appear, and then from this drop down menu you can recolor the artwork like this. When you are satisfied, click this OK, and then you have this rectangle. So these were all the option bar items. Now I'm going to show you this selection tool. Now let me go to rectangle tool and create a vector. Let me change the vector color yellow and give it a stroke, give the stroke a little design, and make a vector like this. So I have made a vector, and let me increase the stroke size to 60. So with this selection tool, what I can do is, you can see these 6 anchor points here. I can click and may increase this vector size like this. If I hit shift and then make it smaller or bigger like this, it will keep its original ratio. If I don't hit shift, then I can make the vector any size I want. Next we have this round circles in anchor points. If I click one of them and drag, as you can see, I can make the sharp corners round like this. Direct selection tool. If I select this rounded dot and make it sharp corners again, as you can see, it makes the changes in all 4 corners. I can select the direct selection tool and select one corner, and then if I make it smaller like this, as you can see, this only one corner gets affected. Then same, if I select this corner again and make it round like this, it only affects this one place. If I select this corner and then select this anchor point, and then if I drag it, as you can see, it only affects this one place. If I select this anchor point and move it like this, as you can see, it only changes this one place like this. Next we have is group selection tool. I need more than one vector to show you this group selection tool. Let me select the rectangle tool and create 2 new vectors like this. Then I can select the selection tool and move it inside my design like this. Now if I select all 3 of these vectors by dragging my mouse and then right clicking on it, as you can see, here's an option called group. Now if I make a group, as you can see, all these 3 layers are inside a member of this one group. So then now I cannot move this vector with this selection tool. It works like these 3 vectors work like one single vector. So if I want to move or change elements of these vector members without destroying this group, what I can do is, I can select this group selection tool and I can select one vector like this. Then I can move it like this, and I can make copies by hitting Alt and like this. I can also delete individual vectors by selecting it like this and then hitting this delete button. I can select this group selection tool and select one vector, and I can select this selection tool and make the vector smaller or bigger like this, and it will not hamper the group. Now let me show you how you can save your work. For example, you have designed this for a festival and it is in its group. I can select this group and I can make it smaller and put it inside the middle of my artboard like this. And then to save it, I can hit file, then save as, and then select the location where I want to save. Let me save it in F and then create a new folder. Now for example, I have created this design for Mr. X. I'm going to name it Mr. X, and I'm going to name it festival design. And then I'm going to put it inside this folder, and I'm going to rename it to and then if I hit OK, it will be saved inside. I forgot to rename it, so let me go back to the Mr. X folder and let me rename it. If you give it a proper name, then your work will be organized. So Mr. X festival. If you deliver a design to your client, you need to give four formats. One is AI, another is EPS. To save it on EPS, click on File, Save As, and then choose EPS from this drop down menu, and then rename it to Mr. X Festival. And now I'm going to show you how you can save it on JPG. To save your design on JPG, select it like this, and then hit Ctrl Alt Shift S from your keyboard, and then this menu will appear. Then select Change Format from here and make it JPG, and then hit Save. And then save it in the location that you have saved your AI. I have saved it in my F and then Mr. X Festival, and then rename it and then hit save. Now it has been saved in JPG. And then I'm going to show you how you can save it in PNG. To save it in PNG, hit Ctrl Alt Shift S. This menu will appear. Change the format to PNG 8 and make sure this transparency is checked, and then hit save and hit save here again. And as you can see, these four files has been created. One is a PNG, JPG, and AI and EPS. Now I'm going to show you this Magic Wand tool. Magic Wand tool is used to select colors. Let me open Photoshop and show you from here. This is the Magic Wand tool. Then if I click this model's face, as you can see, the similar colors of her face is selected. If I click on her darker places, as you can see, only her dark parts of her face is selected. Let me show you in this photo. If I click on the sun, only the sun's similar color is selected. If I click on this dark area, only this dark part has been selected. So now let me show you this in Illustrator. So let me ungroup this image by clicking the selection tool and selecting all the vectors, and then right clicking it and clicking it ungroup. And now let me delete this two, and this one shape is left. Now let me copy this vector by hitting the Alt key and make a copy. Now let me select both of them and hit Alt again and then copy. You can make as many copies as you want like this. Select all the vectors, hit Alt and then drag it with your mouse. As you can see, I have made 8 copies of the same design. Now let me select these two vectors and change their color to white. Now let me select these two vectors and change its color to blue. Now if I select the magic wand tool and select on the blue design, as you can see, all the blue vectors are selected. If I mean yellow vectors are selected. If I click on the blue, all the blue vectors are selected. If I click on the white, then the white vectors are selected. You can select colors like this with magic wand tool. Now I'm going to show you this lasso tool. If you drag a line between two vectors like this, only those two vectors will be selected. For example, I am dragging my line into these two yellow vectors. These two yellow vectors are selected. If I drag a line between these two white vectors, two white vectors are selected. If I drag a line between this white and blue vectors, these vectors will be selected in the layer menu. Now I'm going to show you this pen tool. So what you can do with this pen tool is, let me go to Google and write GP offer design. Now if I go and then go images search, as you can see, this design, this model is cut off and put into place. So you can make this type of design with pen tool. For that you're going to need a model's photo. If you use photos from Google, you're going to get copyright strike. You can get free photos from freepik.com, and you can get a lot of vectors photos from this website. For example, if you write visiting card and hit enter, as you can see, there are so many visiting cards. You can simply download it and change the text, and you get a very beautiful visiting card. You don't have to become an expert in Illustrator to create beautiful designs. You can take help from Freepik. And for example, let me show you more X banner design. And if I hit enter, as you can see, so many X banner designs has been popped up. You can just simply change the text and the images like from by downloading this vector, and you can have a perfect design just by knowing the basic of Illustrator and downloading vectors from Freepik. You can also get model photos from here. If I write Indian model and hit enter, as you can see, Indian model photos has been appeared. If I write just model, as you can see, so many model photos has been appeared. Avoid these crowns. These crown photos are paid photos. Now let me show you pen tool. For that I'm going to create a new page by hitting file new, and I'm going to name it pen tool. And I'm going to change the white size to 2000 pixel and height size to 2000 pixel. And then I'm going to artboard value will be 1, and I'm going to create. So I have created a new page with one artboard. Now I'm going to import a photo from my PC. Let me go to downloads or desktop. I have made a Photoshop tutorial. For that I have selected a few images. Let me import this image on Illustrator. I have imported this photo. As you can see, this photo is very high resolution, so I'm going to hit Ctrl minus to zoom out from my canvas, and then I'm going to select the selection tool, and I'm going to make this photo small while hitting the shift key, and I'm going to put it in my artboard. Then I'm going to hit Ctrl plus to zoom in. Now I'm going to select the pen tool and make an anchor point simply by clicking on my model, and then I'm going to cut my model by making anchor points like this. So if you by mistake make an anchor point outside of your design, you can hit Ctrl and bring back the anchor point to its position. And I'm going to keep making anchor points like this. And if your line is a little bit off, for example like this, you can hit Alt on your keyboard, and then this change the path with this handle like this. So this way, for example, let me click here. As you can see this, so there is this fill color. You can click here and change the fill color to black, red, yellow, green, or if you click this none, then this fill color will go away. Next we have stroke. This stroke is 1 pixel size. If I make it bigger to see 18 pixel size, as you can see there is a stroke. So I can change the stroke from clicking here, and then I can change the stroke color to red, yellow, green like this, or I can hit this none to make it disappear. So then I select the pen tool again, and then I keep making selection like this. If your line is line has changed like this in one place, you can hit the Alt key on your keyboard, and then click on the anchor point, and as you can see, it fixed the line very easily. Or after that, if your pen tool line has been moved away, then you can simply click on the last anchor point like this, and it will again reconnect your pen tool. So for example, if this line has gotten not straight like this, you can hit Alt and click on the handle and make the line, make the path back on its line again. For example, this line is not straight, hit Alt and click on the handle and then make it straight like this. So now then you should practice with this pen tool. That way you will be able to make perfect cutouts of your images very easily. So now I don't want to make this tutorial very big, so I'm going to focus less on accuracy and finish my selection fast like this. And then when you are done, make sure to connect your first anchor point with your last anchor point like this. And if you do that and expand this layer menu like this, you're going to get a path like this and a link layer. Now to cut this model's photo, hit shift and select both this path layer and this link layer with this double circle, and then right click on the artboard and select make clipping mask. As you can see, I have made a selection with this model. Hit Ctrl minus to zoom out from this photo, then select the selection tool, and then you can change the position of this model's vector, and you can increase the size of it. If you hit shift, it will keep its original ratio. Hit Ctrl minus to zoom out more from the image, and as you can see, I have made a perfect cutout from this model. Now if you need a background to put in this model, simply go to free pick and write background. Let me write orange background. So there are so many orange backgrounds. Download any of them you like, and then I have already downloaded orange background. So now I'm going to use the orange background, and let me import the background like this. So I have imported the background, and I'm going to make the background go under the model background, and then I'm going to fit the background with my artboard like this. So now as you can see, I have made a very beautiful design by cutting off the model, and I have changed the background. So now I'm going to show you the add anchor point tool. For that, let me create a new page and name it add anchor point tool. And now let me hit create. So a new artboard has been created with a new page. Now let me make a drawing with this pen tool. I have selected the pen tool, and then let me change the fill color to green, and let me change the stroke color to blue, and let me try and make a strawberry with this pen tool. So I'm trying to draw a strawberry like fruit with this pen tool. Not the best kind of strawberry, but I have made a design. So with this add anchor point tool, what you can do is, if you click on the path, you can make more anchor points in this path. And next tool we have is delete anchor point tool. With this tool, you can delete anchor points. If you click outside an anchor point, then it's going to give you a message like, please use the delete anchor point tool with an anchor point of a path. So if you click on handle, it will not delete, it will only delete the anchor point like this. You can delete anchor point with this delete anchor point tool. Next we have is this anchor point tool. So this is the same. If you select pen tool and hit alt, this tool and this add anchor point tool is the same. You can, if you select this anchor point tool and click on an anchor point, it will bring back the handle. If you drag it with your mouse a little like this, and then you can change the path like this. So now I'm going to show you this curvature pen tool. So let me hit Ctrl minus on my artboard. Then with this curvature tool, I can it will make rounded selection like this. Next, I'm going to show you this text tool, type tool. So let me delete these vectors. By selecting them. With this type tool, you can write something. Now let me write something. So I have clicked it. As you can see, it is very small. Let me hit Ctrl minus to zoom in, and then let me increase. I can increase the font size from here. I can change it to 72. If I need to make it more bigger, I can click here to make it more bigger than 72 from my properties panel, or I can select the selection tool. That way, the 6 boxes will appear. Then I can hit shift and keep its original ratio and make it more bigger like this. Now let me select the text tool again and select my text and hit Ctrl A to select all the text. I can change this text style from this text menu. If I click on this, let me move this library here, and then if I click on this, text menu, let me hit Ctrl minus, and then let me make it down. And now if I show you, let me select this text and then hit Ctrl A, and then if I change this text style, I can choose any text from here and it will become its own style. I can also write my favorite text name. For example, if I want to write it in Roboto, I can write Roboto. As you can see, the Robotos has appeared, and then I can change the Roboto style from regular to thin, italic, light, light italic, regular, medium, bold. Let me write it in bold. Then I can write anything I want. For example, hi. Let me make the caps lock on. Then I can write hi. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe. So I can write it like this, and then as you can see, it is in its own layer. So I can delete this lorem ipsum text from this layer menu simply by selecting and deleting it. And now I have some menus up here. If I click this align center, as you can see, the text aligns from the center. If I click this align right, then the text will align from the right. And if I click this align left, I can align this text from the left, like this. Now, for example, let me delete all this text. Now let me make a logo for a school. Now let me write the name of the school. For example, the school name is Engineering University College. I can select all the text and then make the text 72 pixels from here. If I want to increase the text, I can do so from here. Let me increase it to its size. And while the text tool is selected, you select the move tool. As you can see, a new option appears here, make envelope. If I click this, as you can see, this is the arc style. Make sure that your preview option is checked like this. If your preview is not checked, then if you change style, it will not show. If your preview is on, then as you can see, it will update if you change the style. This is arc style, this is blotch style, this is shell lower style, this is shell upper style, this is horizontal, vertical. If I change this to arc, and then this is horizontal and this is vertical. Make sure your horizontal is checked, and then you can control the bend of this text. If you make it minus, then it will become like this bend, and if you make it plus bend, it will become like this. You can control the size like this. You can also control the horizontal bend and vertical bend of this from here. You can also make it 0 and bend it perfectly. If you want to bend it like this, and when you are satisfied, hit OK, and then you can move your text, and you can do this kind of stuff with this text tool. Next, I'm going to show you this area type tool. For that, let me create a rectangle inside here like this, and then if I select this text tool and click on this path of this rectangle, as you can see, some text has been written, and it is inside this box only. It will not cross this box. If I make a start tool and then make a star like this, and then if I select this area type tool and click on its path, as you can see, the text only stays inside this design. Let me hit Ctrl minus to zoom out, and now let me make a polygon with this polygon tool and make it a little bit in this size. And then if I click this area type tool and click on this path, as you can see, the text only stays inside this polygon tool. If I make an ellipse with this ellipse tool like this, and then if I select this area type tool and click on its path, as you can see, the text only stays inside this rounded circle. So this is what this area type tool does. Next we have is type on a path tool. With this curvature pen tool, if I make a path like this, and then if I select this type on a path tool and click on this path where it started, let me hit Ctrl Z to undo that, and that it will follow the path from where it started to where it finished. Next, I'm going to show you this vertical type tool. Let me delete all of these previous vectors and then hit Ctrl plus to zoom in on my photo. With this vertical type tool, if I write something, it is going to write like this. As you can see, the more I click, it only writes in this vertical form. Next, we have vertical area type tool. If I select this tool, I need a shape for this. So let me delete all these vectors and then create a shape with this ellipse tool and make a ellipse like this. And then if I select this vertical area type tool and click on its path, as you can see, it types vertically like this, and it only stays inside this shape. This is what vertical area type tool. So now I'm going to show you this vertical type on a path tool. Let me delete this layer. Now let me make a shape with this curvature pen tool. So I made a shape and completed it. Now let me select this vertical type on a path tool, and if I click on this path, as you can see, it makes a vertical type on this path. The touch type tool. For that, let me delete this layer, and for example, you want to write a square plus b square. Let me use type tool and write a square b square. Now this doesn't look like that. For that, if I select touch on a type tool and then select this two, I can make it smaller, or I can put it on the top like this. I can make it smaller. I can make this too smaller like this. Now if I write with type tool, for example, I'm making a logo, for example, dream wedding photography, but dream wedding photo, then I can use this touch type tool and I can select this D, make it bigger. Then I can select this W, make it bigger. I can also rotate it, and then this P, I can make it bigger, and I can also rotate it like this. So you can do this kind of stuff. So let me delete these two layers. Next, I'm going to show you this line segment tool. It's pretty self-explanatory. You can draw lines with this line segment tool. The fill color and stroke color both are none. So if I change the stroke color to red and make the stroke increase it to 20 pixel, then if I draw lines like this, as you can see, you can also change the color from here to any color you want simply by clicking them like this. It has nothing to do with fill color, only the stroke with this. You can control it with this stroke color and this stroke size. Next I'm going to show you this arc tool. You can draw arc with this curved lines with this arc tool. You can increase it with this stroke size, and you can change the stroke color from here to any color you want. It has nothing to do with this fill color. You can control it with this stroke. Now I'm going to show you this shapes tool. So this is a rectangle tool. If I draw a rectangle like this fill color is set to none. I can change it to yellow like this, or any color I want. I have explained this all these functions in the when I explained this option bar. So I hope you can go back to the first of the image video where I explained this option bar. You will understand how you can change the fill color, stroke colors. Next we have this rounded rectangle tool. You can draw a rounded rectangle with this tool. Next we have eclipse tool. You can draw round shapes like this. If you hit shift on your keyboard, and you can make it bigger or smaller like this. Next we have is polygon tool. You can draw polygon with this tool like this. You can move it with this selection tool. Next we have is stars tool. You can draw star like this. Next we have is flare tool. So you can draw flare with this flare tool. For example, let me Google flare design, and then if I hit enter, you can make this type of designs inside Illustrator with this this tool. For that, let me delete all these vectors, and then let me select this flare tool and click, and then as you can see, this is diameter is 100, opacity is 50%, brightness 30%, race number of rays is 15. I click this, flare has been created. Now if you want, you can make this flare bigger. If you hit shift, then the original ratio will be kept, and then you can rotate it according to your needs, and you can make the flare more bigger if you want, or smaller. You can, this is the flare. So with this anchor points, if you right click, so if you put it inside a dark background, for example, let me go to my desktop and I have a dark background, or you can download it from FreePic. And where is the dark background? Or this, for example, this orange background, if I import it in Illustrator and put it in this photo and make it the size of this artboard, then if I put the flare up on this background layer, as you can see, it has made a very beautiful flare of this above this background. So if I, now let me zoom out from the photo a little bit, and let me make the, now this is with the flare, this is without the flare. As you can see, the flare looks very beautiful. If I put on the dark background, then the flare design will look more pretty. Now let me show you this paintbrush tool. With this paintbrush tool, if you can make stroke like this. You can hit third bracket on your keyboard to make brush size bigger. To change color, change the color of the stroke. That way you will be able to change it. And this is paintbrush tool. It creates a single line path like this. Next we have bob brush tool. If I select bob brush tool, you can use third bracket to increase or decrease brush size. And if I make a stroke with this like this and select the selection tool, as you can see, it the path is around the stroke. If the paths connects in same color and connects with each other, then as you can see, it makes it merges the layers. But if it is different color, from here let me change it to yellow, and then if I make strokes, it will merge the yellow strokes together. As you can see, now it created a new path. If I connect them, it becomes one layer. Next I'm going to show you this shaper tool. With this shaper tool, you can draw something like this, and it will make Illustrator will make a perfect shape of that specific thing very easily. So this is what shaper tool does. Then if you want to change color, select the shape, change the color from none to yellow to any color you want. First select the layer and then change the color very easily like this. You can also change the stroke very easily from here. Now I'm going to show you this pencil tool. With pencil tool, you can draw lines like this. You can increase stroke size while selecting this stroke from layer. You can increase its stroke size or decrease its stroke size like this. Now I'm going to show you smooth tool. With using pencil tool, let me draw a line that is not so smooth like this. And then I can choose smooth tool, and for example, I want to smooth this part of the image. So if I keep dragging, as you can see, the line gets more smoother. Simply next thing is like this too. If I keep clicking, it will make the line more smooth like this. Now I'm going to show you path eraser tool. For that, let me draw a path with pencil tool like this. So I have drawn a path. And now if I select this path eraser tool and then click on this path, I can delete this path very easily like this. And now as you can see, both paths are on its individual layers. Next I'm going to show you join tool. With this join tool, if you select these both paths, and then with join tool, if you draw a line from one path to another, one path did not get selected. and then if you join the line, it will get joined like this. You can join vectors like this very easily with this join tool. As you can see now, the 2-layer path has become 1-layer path. Next, I'm going to show you this eraser tool. With eraser tool selected, you can erase a part of the vector very easily like this. If you erase from the middle, it will become 3 part or as many parts as you deleted like this. It will affect this layer menu. Now I have made it 2 parts. You can erase any part of the vector very easily like this with this eraser tool. You can hit third bracket on keys to increase or decrease this brush size and erase your vector like this. Now I'm going to show you this scissors tool. Let me create a vector, a rectangle vector like this, and make the fill color blue and stroke color black and stroke size 18. And after that, if I select this scissors tool and select the vector I want to work on, this layer, and then if I click on one path like this and then click on another path like this, by simply clicking them, as you can see, this vector has now split into 2 layers. If I select the selection key and move the layers, as you can see, I have split this vector into 2. So this is how, by clicking in the path, you can make cut off vectors like this. Next we have is knife tool. For that, let me select the rectangle tool and draw a rectangle, and then let me select the knife tool. With this knife tool, if I make a line like this, as you can see, this vector has become 2 from 1. If I select the selection key and select only one vector from this layer panel here, and now if I move it, as you can see, I have cut it according to the line I have created with the knife tool, and now I can move this one vector has become 2 sliced up vector. Next we have is rotate tool. With this rotate tool selected, you can click on a vector's path and rotate the vector like this. If you hit shift, then every time it rotates, it's going to keep the rotation angle to 45 degree. You can rotate vectors like this. Next we have is reflect tool. With this reflect tool, if you select a vector and click on its path, and you can also rotate it like this with this reflect tool, as you can see. And you can, if you select the other vector like this, and then you can also rotate it from one side to another very easily like this. Now I'm going to show you the scale tool. With this scale tool, if you click on the path, you can make it bigger horizontally, vertically. If you hit shift, then it will keep its ratio and make it bigger like this. Now I'm going to show you shear tool. With shear tool, you can click and drag to skew the selected object like this. You can select the layer from the layer menu and skew your object with shear tool. Next we have is reshape tool. Now I can select the pencil tool and draw a shape like this. And after that, if I select the reshape tool, I can change this shape holding its path like this. I can reshape its parts. Now I'm going to show you this white tool. Let me draw a vector with rectangle tool and give it a color, yellow color like this. This rectangle is here. Now if I select the white tool, I can click on its path and increase the size of the stroke like this. While this one is selected like this, I can also move it and change the design of the path with this white tool. Next we have is warp tool. Let me delete this rectangle and create a new rectangle with rectangle tool like this. And then if I select the warp tool, and I can drag it like this and warp its corners very easily with this warp tool. Next we have is troll tool. Let me draw a rectangle vector like this, and then if I select the troll tool and click on its path, I can change its design like this of the vector very easily. If you want to make designs like this, you can easily create design with this troll tool like this. As you can see, this is the design. It has created this design rounds in the edges. With troll tool, you can also make designs like this if you want very easily, if you just have to click. And I can hit Ctrl Z to undo that. Next we have is pucker tool. With pucker tool, if I click, it makes the paths go towards the center of the vector. I can hit Ctrl Z to undo that. If you click less, if you want to make designs like this, you can make so. Next we have is boat tool. Let me hit Ctrl Z to undo that. With boat tool, if I click, as you can see, you can increase the path towards the edge. And if you click from outside, you can change the design like this very easily. Let me hit Ctrl Z to undo that. Next we have is scallop tool. With scallop tool, if I click, you can make the corners a little bit of crystal design like this with this tool. Let me hit Ctrl Z to undo that. Next we have crystallize tool. This also makes the design like crystal like this with it is the opposite of scallop tool. Let me hit Ctrl Z to undo that. Next we have is winkle tool. If I click with winkle tool, as you can see, it only disrupts the path line like this. Next we have is free transform tool. With this free transform tool, as you can see, 3 options appears with a new menu. If I select this one, free transform, I can transform it any way I like the vector. Next we have is perspective distort. It will distort the horizontal and vertical lines like this if I want to design it like this. Next we have is free distort. With this I can make the path distort selecting only one anchor point like this. With if I select the perspective distort, it will distort both anchor points. If I select the free distort, it will only distort the anchor point you are dragging it with. It is like the selection tool and the direct selection tool. So next we have is puppet warp tool. So to use this tool, let me draw a puppet with paintbrush tool. I am drawing the head first, then let me draw the shoulders, then the hands, and then the body and 2 legs. So I have drawn a puppet like this, and then if I select the puppet warp tool, and if I select the entire puppet with selection tool, and then select the puppet warp tool, then I can make points like this. I can make multiple points on using those. I can move the puppet. For example, now if I move it, it will move as a character. As you can see, I am moving the puppet like this. If I want to make the character dance, I can do so very easily with this puppet warp tool. So I hope you understand what you can do with this puppet warp tool. First you have to make a selection and then make points and move your puppet. So now I'm going to show you the shape builder tool. For that, let me draw some rectangles like this. I can draw multiple rectangles. Let me change the rectangle color to yellow. And now if I keep drawing more rectangles, more and more rectangles, more and more vectors, and then what I can do is I can join them together with this shape builder tool. For that, I have to select all the layers, hitting Ctrl A, and also the layers like this. So now, making sure both the round and selecting the layers like this, I'm going to select the shape builder tool, and just simply if I draw a line among them, as you can see, the joins together. If I want to join them both, and as you can see, the number of layers from here is decreasing. I can join all the layers together like this, and as you can see, it has created one single layer, one single vector. I can join vectors like this with this shape builder tool. Now I'm going to show you this light paint bucket tool. With this light paint bucket tool, you can use your arrow keys to change colors like this, and simply paint the color. Next we have is light paint selection tool. With this light paint selection tool, if you click, you can select the fill color like this and change the fill color, or you can select the stroke color like this individually. With all the other tools, you cannot choose the fill color and stroke color of a vector separately, but with this light paint selection tool, you can select the stroke color or fill color separately and change their color very easily like this. Look, if I click on the stroke, it selects the stroke color only. If I select the fill, it selects the fill color only. Now I'm going to show you this perspective grid tool. You can use it to make logos. Let me make a logo and show you. Let me select the rectangle tool and draw a rectangle on this axis of this vector, and then let me select the rectangle tool, or let me select the selection tool and hit Alt to make a duplicate of this rectangle. And what I can do is I can rotate it like this, and it has made a same size selection of the vector. Then I can select the rectangle tool again and draw another rectangle in the middle of it like this. Then I can change its colors to green, and as you can see, a logo has been created. So if I hit this cross when I'm done, sorry about that, I have to select the perspective grid tool, and then if I hit this cross when I'm done, boom, as you can see, you got yourself a logo. You can make it more perfect or more accurate according to your needs. And next we have is perspective selection tool. To show you what this does, let me select the perspective grid tool again, and now if I move any of the vectors, I can move any of the vectors using this perspective selection tool. If I move, as you can see, it moves the vector according to its axis. It distorts the vector to keep it in its path. Any vector I move, as you can see, it will distort it, and to keep it in the 3D axis perfectly like this. Now I'm going to show you this mesh tool. So to show you the mesh tool, let me select the eclipse tool and draw a vector, round vector like this, and let me change this color from white to yellow. So then if I select the mesh tool and create a line here, what I can do is I can go to properties and I can change the fill color from white and it will draw a fill color like this. So I can, if I then select the selection tool and select, as you can see, you have made a selection like this. Now with mesh tool you can select multiple points and change the color of the points very easily. For example, like this, if you want to change a color, just select that anchor point and change its fill simply like this. Next I'm going to show you this gradient tool. To show you the gradient tool, let me select rectangle tool and draw a rectangle like this, and let me select the gradient tool after that. Now if I select the gradient tool, you're going to see three options in the properties menu. One is linear gradient, one is radial gradient, one is freeform gradient. So let me show you this radial gradient. If I select this radial gradient, as you can see, it makes a gradient like this. This is the line of the gradient. If you want to, you can move the line like this to make your gradient more hard or more soft according to your needs. If you want to change the color of your gradient, simply click on this double round circle, and then you can change your color. Here are some predefined color. You can change the colors from red, yellow, green, blue, deep blue, pink, red, to any color you want like this. You can also rotate the gradient like this. This line represents the gradient. You can also make the gradient smaller like this if you want. You can also change color on this side. You can change it to white, black, red, yellow, green, blue, deep blue, to any color you want, and create a gradient like this. So next we have is radial gradient. So what this does is it creates a circular gradient like this. You can change the rest of the color changing process is same. Click on this dot to change its gradient color to any color you want. Also, if you want to change the color in the middle, click on the middle's dot and change it to any color you want. Next we have is freeform gradient. With this freeform gradient, you can make this as many points as you want like this inside a vector simply by clicking on it, and then you can change its color to 1 to white. If you double click on it, this color changing option will appear, and then you can change each individual gradient's color like this, and make a colorful background. If you want to make festivals background a lot of filled with a lot of color, you can do so very easily like this. Now I'm going to show you this eyedropper tool. With this eyedropper tool, let me import a photo from my PC to Illustrator like this. Now if I want to know what color is her skin color, if I click with the eyedropper tool, as you can see, the skin color appears as fill. If I want to know what color is her eyes are, I can simply know it by clicking on wherever I click. It will give me the color of that specific spot. If I want to know what color her pants are, I can easily click it and show you like this, what color her shirt, what color her lips. Very easily I can identify it with this eyedropper tool. Next we have is measure tool. What we can do is we can measure 2 points like this. This is x-axis, this is y-axis, 2 dots I given. This is the pixel point, and this is their distance. You can also see their values in the properties menu, in the transform menu like this. This is the navigator. This is what measure tool does. If you make 2 points, it will show the distance between the 2 points. So this is the distance, 11,049.2641 pixels. It is very accurate. Now I'm going to show you the blend tool. To show you the blend tool, let me draw a rectangle with this rectangle tool like this, and then let me draw a ellipse with ellipse tool like this. Let me change the ellipse color to yellow, and as you can see, they are in their own layers. Now if I select both of these layers and then target both of these layers with this circle menu like this, and then if I click this blend tool and click on the vector, first vector to the second vector, as you can see, it makes a blend from one vector to another, one color to another like this, and it makes one layer from the layers I have selected. Next we have is symbol sprayer tool. If you select the symbol sprayer tool, and then if you select a symbol from this symbols menu here, you can choose any symbol and draw it like this in your artboard. As you can see, you are making, then if you let go of your click, it's going to stop making more symbols. You can choose multiple symbols like this and spray it like this. Next we have a symbol shifter tool. With this symbol shifter tool, if you hit alt and if you click, you can change the direction of the symbols with this symbol sprayer tool. It will bring the far away ones closer. Next we have is symbol scratcher tool. With this symbol scratcher tool, if you hit alt and click, it will disappear from this target point. If you just keep clicking, you can hit third bracket on your keyboard to make the brush bigger, and then if you click, it will make all the symbols inside this brush, and if you hit alt and then if you click it, it will make them go away, far away from each other. Next we have is symbol sizer tool. With this symbol sizer tool, you can hit third bracket to increase your brush, and then if you want you can make the symbol size bigger like this. Next we have is symbol spinner tool. If you want to spin the symbol, you can do it like this very easily with this symbol spinner tool. Select the symbol spinner tool and then you can hit third bracket to increase your brush, and then you can change multiple symbols direction changed. Next we have a symbol stainer tool. If you click with this, as you can see, it changes the color or the design of the symbols like this. You can do it like this. Next we have a symbol screener tool. It makes the opacity lower of a symbol the place you click. Next we have is symbol styler tool. If you select the symbol styler and click, as you can see, it makes a menu that it says please select a symbol from graphic stylers panel first. For that you have to go to window and then bring back this graphic styler. Styles panel, graphic styles panel. So let me bring back the graphic styles panel. Oh, sorry. Window, this is the graphic styles panel, and then you can choose a design from here and you can change your design to any design you want simply by clicking on your layer like this. If I click with this blue, as you can see, it changes its style. So these are all the symbols tool. Now I'm going to show you this graph tool. All the graphs work the same way, so I'm going to just show you this one column graph tool. So after selecting the graph tool, you draw your graph according to your needs. If you hit shift, it's going to create a perfect graph, and if you don't hit shift, then you can distort it. After that, this menu will appear. You can change its value from here. Yeah, it is shown 0 to 1. If you want to change, you can write your value here 0 to, if you want to make it 0 to 100, you can do so from here. And then you can select a house from this table, and then you write the values. For example, 19, then 22, then 53, then 64, then 69, then for example, you want this many and you hit the check mark, and as you can see, these are the values. The first value will show here. This is your first 100 value. Next we have this 19 value. Next we have this 22 value. Next we have 53. Next we have 64. Next we have 69. So all the vectors are the same. So if I now I'm going to show you this artboard tool. So go to window and make sure this artboard is checked. Then this menu will appear. You can move it and put it to in anywhere you want. Let me make the layer menu shorter and this artboard menu here, and let me make it a little shorter. So if I select the artboard tool like this and then draw in this canvas, and as you can see, it has created a new artboard. Then you can change the white value and height value properties. If your properties is not here, go to window and click on these properties. Make sure this properties is checked. That way you will get this menu. And then if I change the white value to 1000 pixel and height value to 1000 pixel, as you can see, you can change the artboard's size from this menu. Next we have is x-axis and y-axis. So you can move this artboard around if you need to. For example, this has 3000. Let me change the x-axis value to 3000 pixel and y-axis value to 500 pixel. So I hope you understand what this did. It changes the position of the artboard. As you can see, the artboard you have created is in this artboard menu. You can also delete it from this artboard menu here. You can also click this plus to create multiple artboards. You can also use this delete button to delete these artboards. Next we have a slice tool. So let me import a photo from my desktop, and let me import for example this photo. I'm importing it in Illustrator, and then I can scale it down hitting the shift key and selection key, and then putting it in the artboard. If I select the selection tool and make a selection like this, selection slice tool is used to cut images and then uploading them in the web. So if you are a web developer, you will select the slice tool to cut images like this, and then if you want to resize your selection, you're going to select the slice select tool, and you can make your selection bigger or smaller from any angle you want, like this. Next we have is hand tool. With this hand tool you can move around this canvas with this hand tool. Next we have is zoom tool. You can by hitting this zoom tool, this plus appears, and then if you click you can zoom in, and if you hit alt and click you can zoom out. You can use also control plus to zoom in and control minus to zoom out from your canvas. So these were all the tools of Illustrator. I hope you have learned something from it. And if you want some advanced tutorials on the Illustrator, you can let me know in the comments. I will make some advanced tutorials on how you can do business card designs or expander designs or billboard designs or bus designs, things like that. You can like this video to support me, or dislike it if you want to. You can also subscribe to my channel to support me. Thank you. Bye bye.